How do you go from years of patient rebuilding to suddenly flipping the switch and saying, you know what, we're done waiting? Is it possible that the Montreal Canadiens, the team we've watched suffer through lottery picks and development years, are actually ready to win right now? Listen up, folks, because what's happening in Montreal right now is absolutely fascinating. It's December 31st, 2025, and the Canadiens just demolished the Boston Bruins 6-2. They're sitting in third place in the Atlantic Division. The Bell Center is buzzing again. And according to a brilliant breakdown from Arpon Basu at The Athletic, Kent Hughes isn't done making moves. Not even close. The next target? Blake Coleman, the Calgary Flames forward who brings everything Montreal needs right now. Stanley Cup pedigree, elite penalty killing, physical play, and the kind of veteran presence that turns good teams into playoff teams. But here's what makes this story so much deeper than just another trade rumor. This isn't about desperation. This isn't about panic moves or trying to save a sinking season. This is about a meticulously planned strategy that Kent Hughes has been building toward for months, and we're only now starting to see the full picture. Let me take you back a few steps so you understand exactly what's happening here. When Montreal traded for Philip Danault recently, a lot of people scratched their heads. Sure, Danault is a former Hab, a beloved player who left in free agency years ago. The homecoming story was nice. But why would a rebuilding team give up assets for a 32-year-old defensive center making over $5 million a year? The answer, as it turns out, wasn't about nostalgia at all. It was about timeline. It was about creating what Bossa calls a veteran bridge that will carry this young core from promising prospects to legitimate contenders. And Blake Coleman is the next piece of that bridge. Right now, the Canadiens are dealing with a reality check. Jake Evans, one of their most reliable depth centers, just went down with a lower body injury. He's going to miss 4 to 6 weeks. Kirby Dach is still working his way back to full health. Patrick Lane has been dealing with his own issues. Suddenly, a team that looked deep and balanced is starting to feel thin down the middle. That's where the urgency comes from. Montreal is in third place. They're winning games. The playoff dream that seemed so far away just months ago is suddenly very, very real. And Kent Hughes knows that if you're going to make a push, you can't do it with a roster full of 22-year-olds. You need veterans. You need guys who've been there before. You need leaders who know how to win when the games matter most. Blake Coleman checks every single box. 2 Stanley Cup rings. 1 with Tampa Bay, 1 with Vegas. Elite penalty killer who can shut down the opposition's best players. Physical presence who plays a heavy, grinding style that's perfect for playoff hockey. And here's the kicker. His contract situation is absolutely perfect for what Montreal is trying to do. Coleman signed a massive deal with Calgary, $29.4 million total. But here's the beautiful part for Canadiens. He only has 1 more year left after this season. His contract expires in 2027. And that timeline, according to Boss's analysis, aligns perfectly with Montreal's long-term plan. Let me explain what's really going on here, because this is where Kent Hughes shows just how smart he is. The Canadiens have a core of young, elite talent. Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, Uri Slavkovsky, Lane Hudson. These are franchise players in the making, but they're not ready to carry a team to a Stanley Cup on their own yet. They need time. They need experience. They need protection from the crushing pressure that comes with being the guys in Montreal. So what does Hughes do? He brings in a group of veterans whose contracts all expire around the same time, 2027. Philip Danault, Blake Coleman, if this trade happens. Brendan Gallagher's deal becomes movable. Josh Anderson's contract comes off the books. All of these guys are scheduled to exit stage left right around the same time. And in 2027 to 28, according to Basu's reporting, the Canadiens should be ready to truly hand the team over to their younger players. Do you see the genius of this? Hughes isn't mortgaging the future. He's not handing out long-term deals to aging veterans who will become anchors in 3 years. He's creating a temporary shield, a veteran bridge that protects the young core, teaches them how to win, and then gracefully exits when it's time for the kids to take over completely. Blake Coleman fits this plan like a glove. He's 33 years old. He's got the experience. He's got the rings. He can play up and down the lineup. He can kill penalties. He can win face-offs. He can throw hits. And most importantly, he can show guys like Suzuki and Caulfield what it takes to win the playoffs. Imagine a checking line with Philip Danault and Blake Coleman on it. Seriously, close your eyes and picture it. What opposing forward is going to score against that combination? They'd be an absolute nightmare to play against. Shut down defense, relentless forechecking, and the kind of two-way play that wins championships. And here's the best part. Coleman won't cost Montreal the farm. According to the reports, Hughes still has plenty of assets to work with after the Danault trade. Calgary is struggling, sitting outside the playoff picture, and they're probably going to be sellers at the deadline. A second-round pick, maybe a mid-level prospect, and Montreal could have their man. Compare that to what they gave up for Danault, and you start to see a pattern. Hughes isn't giving up first-round picks or blue-chip prospects. He's using the depth of assets he's accumulated during the rebuild to add veteran pieces without gutting the future. It's textbook asset management. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. Is this the right move? Should Montreal really be going all in on a playoff push right now? Aren't they supposed to be rebuilding? Here's the thing. The rebuild is over. It might have ended sooner than anyone expected, but it's over. When you're sitting in third place in your division in late December, when you're beating the Bruins 6-2, when your young stars are producing at elite levels, you're not rebuilding anymore. You're competing. And if you're competing, you have to commit to it. You can't half-ass a playoff push. You can't say, well, we're kind of trying to make the playoffs, but we're also still developing. That's how you end up in no man's land. Not good enough to win, but not bad enough to get high draft picks. Kent Hughes is making a statement. He's saying, we're ready. Our young players are ready. And we're going to surround them with the veteran support they need to succeed right now. The Jake Evans injury accelerated the timeline, sure, but this was always a plan. Bring in veterans who can bridge the gap between prospect and contender, protect the young core, teach them how to win, and then, in 2027, step aside and let them take over completely. Blake Coleman is the next piece of that puzzle. He's a defensive forward who can take the tough matchups. He's the penalty killer who can shut down power plays in crucial moments. He's a playoff warrior who can show the young guys what it takes to win when every shift matters. Calgary is going to listen to offers. They're not going anywhere this season, and Coleman's contract makes him an attractive trade chip. For Montreal, this is the perfect opportunity to add another veteran without sacrificing future. And if Hughes pulls this off, if he lands Coleman to pair with Danault, creating one of the most formidable defensive forward combinations in the league, the Canadiens suddenly look like a team that nobody wants to face in the playoffs. Third place in the Atlantic, a 6-2 demolition of the Bruins, Philip Danault back in the fold, and potentially Blake Coleman on the way. The playoff aspirations that seemed like a pipe dream just a few months ago are starting to look very, very real. This is the veteran bridge strategy in action. This is Kent Hughes playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. This is the Montreal Canadiens saying, "We're not waiting anymore. We're ready to win now. And we're building the foundation to dominate in 2027. The bridge is being built brick by brick, veteran by veteran. And when it's complete, this young core is going to walk across it straight into Stanley Cup contention." So what do you think? Is Blake Coleman the perfect addition for this Canadiens team? Should Kent Hughes pull the trigger and bring in another veteran to solidify this playoff push? Or should Montreal pump the brakes and stick with internal development? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like button, because this trade deadline is shaping up to be absolutely wild. And we're going to be here covering every single move as it happens.